UK History is a brand new digital channel launching on Freeview on the 30th of October. UK History showcases the best of BBC history programming, going beneath the surface to reveal the detail of history's best stories and the people who made a difference.
By this time, Cromwell was in exterminating angel mode and brushed him aside. I say, you are no parliament. And with that, he called in the musketeers. The boots entered heavily. Lately, there's been an attempt to read the death scene in the tapestry as though he was the figure cut down by the horseman, not the warrior pulling the arrow out of his eye. Beckett must have seen right away that they meant business. He was, after all, a traitor. And, well, what happens to traitors? Now, whoever thought a little thing like this would start a revolution?
Wellesley was about to make one of the biggest mistakes of his life.
Within minutes, Wellesley and his troops were in disarray.
The single most important thing that Wellesley takes away from India is the importance of logistics. Military historians like me bang on about logistics, but it really means the practical art of moving armies and keeping them supplied.
Defendant Albert Speer, the tribunal sentences you to 20 years in prison.
Had Hitler wished for a son, this is the son he would have wanted.
You know that the final solution was a secret, and it was a secret to me too.
It was a skillful defense, and he got away with it.
Speer's guilt was so enormous that it was unmanageable.
From the mystery of ancient civilizations to the global warfare of the late 20th century, UK History builds a richer and deeper picture of history's key events and characters.
I know how I'd feel if I stood on the shore and saw a whole fleet of these approaching. I'd be absolutely terrified. Do you think these are victims of Vikings, then? Some of them seem to have had a very violent death.
Genetics is opening up a new window on history.
Could Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan be the descendants of Vikings?
They had to have the glorious last stand. It became a crucial part of American national identity.
Far from there being a last stand, Custer's men were simply mown down in a sudden, unexpected attack.
In contradiction of the Hollywood legend, the last soldiers alive on the battlefield were those who were actually running away.
In terms of area bombing, it was the perfect raid.
We did what we did at the time, and it had to be done.
There are a lot of people who say that bombing can never win a war.
If you dwelt on it, then you couldn't do the job at all.
My answer to that is that it has never been tried yet.
Some 50,000 people are thought to have been killed.
UK History Specials, themed weeks of programmes that revolve around major anniversaries and events, will build and illuminate history's bigger picture.
We felt it was the real thing, and we were all scared to death.
I spent money I didn't have because I didn't think I'd have to pay it back. I really and truly didn't.
Do you deny that the USSR has medium and intermediate range missiles in Cuba? Don't wait for the translation, yes or no.
Kennedy resisted the pressure of the military to invade Cuba that day. Without knowing it, he saved the world from nuclear war.
I fire a torpedo at a large freighter. It explodes, and there is a high column of flame which rips open the ship from the bow to the bridge.
2 out of every 3 men on that ship only had 12 minutes to live, and they didn't know it.
The politicians would watch from the town border. The young scientists were told to stand much closer. The shockwave and flash shook the town of Kurchatov. Sakharov told Khrushchev that exploding a second bomb would be murder.
I was overcome by my impotence. I put my face down on the desk and wept.
UK History. Compelling stories from passionate experts.
Your main problem was not the terrain, but was the cold and especially the lack of food and provisions.
Imagine it was midsummer, blazing heat, and they had no water. And then they made the fundamental, unbelievable mistake of broaching the wine supplies because they had nothing else to drink.
Sitting here in Roman times, you might have heard this. I could build an enormous bridge with lots of sort of columns and pillars and arches. Just look at this one here. Romans must have come in here to pay tribute to the gods of good living. I wish I'd been here, actually.
However dazzling Elizabeth looked, she has got to have known how rough the road was going to be for a ruler of the wrong sex.
UK History, the best British-produced documentaries giving fascinating insights into history's best stories. UK History, where every second counts, launches the 30th of October 2002.